All right, let's see here. Looks like my mic is in a good spot. I'm sure you can hear me. With my cats constantly hitting my mic and rubbing up on the boon and whatnot, I moved the mic a little higher. Normally have it lower in front of my face, but now I've kind of positioned it up higher, so it's kind of like a TV set, similar to that effect. So hopefully I'm coming in loud enough. And let's see here, where's everything else at? Yeah, anyways, I suppose let's just get started then. Let me switch over to the main screen and we'll jump right into this. Not really much to talk about. I don't think there's any updates for the tool or with the channel in general. Although I really need to get going on those CR comparison videos, at least with shorts. I got to start working on those. Finish up the Kobold comparison, and then get into some other ones that are underrated and such to have more balanced encounters. Let's see here. Where am I at? Let me drop that screen down. Alright, so there was one suggestion on the Discord. And let's see here. That one was from... Oh, okay. Clawpaw, you dropped something in there too. Alright, so Balrog over on the Discord dropped in the Wooden Warden, a large Fey. Yeah, I see that. Thank you, Clawpaw. Yes, anyone that's watching and wants to join the Discord, the link is pinned to the chat. Okay, cool. I will get those after Balrog's there. I don't remember who Balrog is on YouTube. Let's see here. Did I make a note? No, I did not. Anyways, so let's take a look at Balrog's, and then we'll take a look at the couple that Clawpaw suggested, and we'll go from there. Alright, so at the moment we're just going to kind of work off of my secondary screen, and everything else will be here on the main screen, which you're seeing here. So if you'd like to see this monster that Balrog on the CR Sleuth's Discord, he put it in the monster requests, we can go from there. And let's see here. You can take a look and follow along later on. Alright, so we'll start off with this large Fey here. And let's see here. Right, so large Fey. Let's throw that in there. Large. And what else do we have here? 172 hit points. We're going to have to figure this out on our own, unfortunately. But let's put in the stats for our monster here. That'll help out a little bit. 20, 14, 16, 14, 19, and 18. I don't have a CR for the monster just yet, so I don't know what to put that at. Looking at some of the stuff that the Balrog here has, probably could go with... Let's see here. Probably could go with something along the lines of maybe... well, let's try with a 5 and go from there. I'll update later on, because I'm not seeing anything at the moment. Alright, so first off, let's try and find 172 hit points. And we'll say 10. Okay, not enough. That's only 85, so let's go with 20. And we're close. So, oh, Bold Possum. Hello there. Thank you for joining the live stream here. See, this is your first time here. If you have any monster requests, feel free to drop them in the chat here, or you can join the Discord, link in the chat here, pin message, and you can throw them in the monster request section there. Alright, so once again, the Wooden Warden is off of the monster request section in the Discord at the moment, so I'm working off of that one currently, if you're wondering where I'm getting these numbers from. Moving on, we're pretty close to the average hit points that Balrog has for this Wooden Warden. So we'll move on from there, and we have, looks like, 3 saving throws of Strength, Wisdom, and Charisma, so we'll go ahead and pop those in, giving us a +2 effective AC bonus. The monster also, or humanoid, yeah, oh, large Fey. This Fey, neutral good, also has damage resistances to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, damage made from non-magical or cold steel weapons, and as well as fire. So we'll go ahead and throw the resistance in here and giving us, right now, probably 50% more hit points for those resistances. And we'll see what happens after that, and we'll adopt from there. Because at the moment, we're already at a CR5, so we're going to have something a little higher here. Clawpaw, I just spilled tea over my worksheets, and half my table is... And half my table, I'm back in a second. Okay, good luck cleaning up your tea. Sorry to hear that. Okay, let's see, what else we have here. We have condition immunity, senses, languages, metal vulnerability. When in contact with metal, the wooden warden takes 1d8 necrotic damage. Okay, so that's something for the wooden warden. We're not going to worry about adding that in because we don't worry about vulnerabilities that the warden is doing to itself unless they're taking the damage. So in theory, we could say, all right, you know, metal weapons that the players are using against this creature would be dealing the metal warden an extra 1d8 necrotic damage. So it's kind of hard to say how much to assign to that. We could possibly say vulnerabilities, considering it's all weapons. So let's go ahead and do that then, actually. Let's tick vulnerabilities here because our players, in theory, will have, you know, metal-tipped bolts and arrows, swords, and what have you. So it's almost to a point here where the damage resistances negate the metal vulnerability. You could almost just completely ignore that altogether. Because as we're seeing here, we're gaining 50% hit points, but then we're also reducing the hit points in half because of that damage vulnerability to just all metal. Okay, moving on. Let's see what we have here. We also have some actions of a multi-attack. The wooden warden makes 2 attacks with its wooden maul. And then the wooden maul itself has a +10 to hit, so we'll go ahead and pop that in here. And then from there, the wooden maul itself will be dealing, let's see here, 3d6 +8 bludgeoning damage. I'm not quite sure where the +8 is coming from, considering our strength modifier is our highest one here. So 3d6 plus, we'll be doing strength here. Maybe the proficiency bonus was added in accidentally as well. So the wooden maul should be doing approximately 15.5 damage every swing. Alright, so we will take that for attack number 1. And then since it's the only thing that our wooden warden can do for actions of just regular melee attacks, this is the multi-attack. We'll just sit here, take that times 2, and we'll see that we can get an average of 31 damage per round. On top of that, we have some innate spellcasting, which is thrown into the action section, which is now proper. You should be throwing your spellcasting in there. But if you're following along with how spellcaster is being built out by Wizards of the Coast, the spellcaster now generally only puts in defensive spells. Any kind of offensive spell is now converted into some kind of an attack. So for instance, when I looked at the bard there from Strixhaven, they had an ink blade, and the ink blade was either strictly a melee weapon or could be done as a ranged weapon, which is great because it saves so much typing, it saves so much effort, and just makes it so much easier to work with these monsters. Ted from Nerd Immersion, he also showed off a monster that had basically a fireball spell. And the cool thing about the fireball spell, which wasn't actually a spell, it was a spell attack, had a recharge of 4 to 6. So 50% of the time you're going to see that spell, which is fantastic. Oh, all right, Clorox. Yes, hey, I made it. Figured today's session would be a bit longer. What are you working on at the moment? At the moment, I am working on the wooden warden in the monsters request section there, Clorox. So if you want to follow along, jump into the Discord and see the one. Which, did you put that there? I don't remember who Balrog is, but Balrog posted it on the Discord. I got to make a note of whoever that is, if that's you or not. So that's what we're currently working on. I was just talking about the changes to spellcasters. So what we have here for our wooden warden and spellcasting, we have some at will of fairy fire, color spray, and long strider. Color spray probably will help. Let's take a look at that. What spell level is color spray? I don't recall. Let's see here. Color spray. Oh, perfect. Okay, so it's a It's a level 1 spell, and at level 1 it can be doing 14 effective DPR. Alright, that's cool. The next question is it... Welcome back, Clawpaw. Hopefully you got that whole thing sorted out. Let's see here. Color spray. I gotta figure out concentration or not. Or not that. What am I trying to figure out? Drawing a blank here. 1 round, 1 action. No, it's a first level spell. Okay, so it does a whole bunch of blinding. Okay, cool, Clorox, thank you. Yeah, Balrog put up a monster to have a look at for monster suggestions, so I'm taking a look at that right now. And then Clawpaw also has one here. Next up. Alright, so we have Color Spray, that's interesting, could be handy. Only worth 14 effective DPR. We also have 3 per day of Hold Person, Invisibility, and Bark Skin. Bark Skin could be handy. Oh, do I have the AC? I don't think I put the AC in as well for the monster. So let me go back to that. I did not. Okay, put the AC in for the monster. Alright, so Bark Skin's not going to help the Wooden Warden at all because the AC is already better than Bark Skin. So then after that, we also have Catnap, Hypnotic Pattern, and Slow. Hypnotic Pattern's probably going to be our best bet. Now it's just a matter of finding Hypnotic Pattern. If I could spell it right. Hypnotic, it's not there. Oops. There we go. Hypnotic Pattern's a level 3 spell, and I didn't spell it out correctly. There we go. So we would definitely want to do Hypnotic Pattern as probably one of our first things here. And let me just double check Hypnotic Pattern for concentration. And yes, it definitely is concentration. I should probably add that in. That'll have to be like an update or something in this to tell if these things have concentration or not. Alright, so I know new thing for this part of the tool and what's going to get an update pretty soon. I'm going to have to take a note of that somewhere down the line. Alright, so Hypnotic Pattern for sure we would probably want to do right off the bat here. So let's see here. 42 effective DPR. Let's convert Hypnotic Pattern into effective hit points because it's stopping the monsters from acting. And what did I say? It was 42? Yeah, alright, 42, perfect. So in theory, we could be saving ourselves 105 hit points per turn. So first off, let's see what happens with our Wooden Warden here if we just do all melee. If we do all melee, we'll take the multi-attacks there, multiply them by 3. We're doing 93 damage on average every round of combat. With everything else going on here, our monster should be roughly... our large Fae should be roughly a CR 6. But that's without spell casting. So let's take a look at that in a moment. Clorox, let's see. I may end up posting some of my own stat blocks in the Discord eventually. Most of them end up in the C2 gaming server as they use the Epic Legacy Mythic creature rules. Done a bunch of Archdevil stats. Okay, cool, man. Yeah, if you want to throw them in there, I can take a look at them and see how they came out. I'd be interested to see what you have for sure. All right. Now let's take a look at throwing in Hypnotic Pattern on round 1. So we'll reduce this to two rounds of combat. And the first round of combat will be the Hypnotic Pattern and giving us roughly 105 extra hit points in theory. So if we consider Hypnotic Pattern and we concentrate on that, and then we do a couple rounds of multi-attack and we still, maybe we get to round 4 or round 5, you know, we're seeing possibly a CR9 here. So let me update this to a CR9 and see if this adjusts anything. No, it doesn't. So, in theory, Balrog's monster here of the Wooden Warden could be a CR9, with it being very much a tank for sure, as we can see in the blue zone here, and not so much of a, an attacking monster. So this is going to be a frontline protector, and from the sounds of things, I'm not surprised, to be honest. So there you go, Balrog. If you're watching or watch this at a later point in time, your Wooden Warden is looking to be about a CR9, Otherwise, if we don't count in the magic at all, we could be seeing, what was it, CR6? Let me just put that back to a 3. Yeah, so we're seeing a CR6 melee-wise. All right, let's move on. Clawpaw had suggested another monster. Oh, you know what? Let's take one step back real quick. Let's go back all the way to also have spellcasting in the mix. And let's say our resistances are bypassed. This is something I always forget to add in, but I've been doing it on the shorts as well. So let's say, for the sake of things, our monster or the players have the cold steel or have magical weapons, which are generally pretty easy to come by. So if we don't have, you know, if our players are dealing magical damage through weapons and whatnot, the CR now drops down to a 7. So in theory, this is something new I've been also working on, is averaging out the CR between resistance and immunities versus bypassed. Because generally speaking, whenever you're going to be throwing this at your players, you're probably going to have the majority of your team, you know, if the average size is about 4 players, 3 to 4 players, I would expect 2, maybe 3 of those players, depending on the size, again, usually about maybe 50 to 60% of those players, to have magical weapons in one form or another. Sometimes they may not. You know, maybe you have a spellcaster that doesn't have a magical weapon and they've run out of spell slots, so they're just bonking someone, you know, with their staff or something and not dealing magical damage. So it's very possible. I mean, in my campaign right now, on my Tuesday groups, I have technically 2 players of the 4 that are playing all the time. 2 of them have magical weapons, 2 of them don't. So it's just kind of how it works out. So in theory, if we average out the CRs between, you know, having resistances and not having the resistance and it's bypassed, I would say, all right, we could average that out and say CR8 for this monster. All right, let's move on. We will clear this out and hit up Clawpaw's monster. Let's see here. I gotta download that real quick. Utgrad, Raduman Steinschwart. I'm just gonna go with Utgrad. Rudeman Steinschwart. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that pretty good. And my cat is bugging out. Give me 2 seconds. It's Pumpkin for those curious. Pumpkin, I am live streaming right now, buddy. You want to come in, you have to behave yourself, and go hang out in the window. Okay? Go hang out in the window. Alright, and no, he doesn't want to hang out in the window. Clawpaw, let's see. I'm already sorry for that one. Oh dear. Let's see here. So Steinschwart? Steinschwart. Stein. Yeah, I think I got that. Steinschwart. I'm trying to remember the German I took in high school. It's been a little while. At least pronouncing with that. Anyways, yes, but I will stick with Utgard. Yes. Pumpkin the cat, CR30 creature. I would go with probably Bard, as he is very good at distractions and controlling magic. He's a good boy, though. He's a good boy. All right, so let's see here. Utgard. Or Utgrad. Utgrad. One for what, Clawpaw? Okay, let's see here. All right, Utgrad. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's take a look at this. Medium humanoid, dwarf, lawful neutral. Oh, we got a whole bunch of stuff here. All right. Yes, Pumpkin the cat, the goodest boy. All right, let's jump into this one. It's going to take a little bit. All right, AC 18 and medium humanoid with 30 D8. So let's see here. Let's throw in the stats of 22, 11, 20, 14, 17, and 19. And then we should see CR 20 when pumpkin CR exposing. Oh, I have to work out some stats for that one. Figure out how to work that out for sure. Oh boy. Okay. Let's see here. So we have a bunch of saving throws of Strength, Dex, Con, and Charisma. So we have 4. So let's go ahead and throw those in there. Plus 2 AC bonus. We've got some skills, some damage vulnerabilities of Psychic, not very common at all. We have damage resistance to cold, fire, poisoning, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical weapons. So we'll throw that in, but it's not going to give us anything because at CR 16, the resistances become invalid. We also have damage immunities to Radiant, but because it's only one stat, we won't worry about that one. And then after that, we can move down into monster traits. Chosen one 102. Would you say a CR 24 is good for 5 level 20s? Okay. We're going to take a moment from Utgrad here and answer Chosen One's question because this is going to be really easy. Really easy. I've been reading a whole bunch of stuff from Sly Flourish, who is Mike Shea from D&D, and the Sly Flourish articles I read recently was one about deadly encounter thresholds, like very easily done. And he has an updated sheet here where basically from a certain level ranges, and let me get my notepad out real quick so I can just quickly show you. Hey, Joe Math, how's it going, buddy? Good to see ya. Oh, what am I getting here? Who's calling me? Someone was calling me. That's weird. Okay. Anyways, so there's a whole bunch of level ranges here. We got 1 to 4, 5 to 10, and then 11 to 16, and then 17 to 20, right? And at level 1, every player on here, you know, from level 1 to 4, your player is technically equivalent to a CR1 quarter. So you would take your character's level and divide it by 1/4. And then the same goes for levels 5 to 10. When your player level is 5 to 10, you divide that and you divide that by 2, and you're now equivalent to that. So if you're a level 6 player, you take your level, and at base, your player would be pretty much equivalent to a CR3 monster at level 6, and then CR5 at level 10, and so on. Yep, the Chosen One's saying the tiers there. And then at level 11, now, originally it stopped at it stopped at 1/2, but then I guess Sly Flourish updated it and said, okay, from levels 11 to 16, you're now equivalent to 3/4 of the CR. So you would take, you know, a level 12, divide that by 3/4, and what's that? Level 9, CR9, I think. So your level 12 player would be roughly equivalent to a CR9 monster. And then from level 17 to 20, your player is now pretty much 1-to-1 for monsters. So at 17, you're equivalent to a CR17 monster, and at level 20, you should be roughly at base equivalent to a CR20. So your question about, is a group of, let's see here, 5 level 20s good for CR24? So here's where the quick math comes into this. We have 5 level 20 players, right? So we take the 5, times that by 20, and we end up with, what is that, 100? Let's see here. So yeah, we would take the 5, times that by 20, and we end up with 100. And then, to see if the encounter is going to be deadly or not, you add up all the monster CRs. Okay? So in this case, we have one CR level 24 monster. So we have CR 24, and we would compare that to the total of the players. So in some instances, if we had it lower, we would take the 100 and divide it lower. You know, we would divide it by the numbers or whatever. So in theory, actually, 5 level 20 players versus 1 CR24, this is going to be a very easy battle. Because we could technically have upwards of 100, you know, a total of CR 100 monsters. You know, we could have 4 CR 24 monsters, and this should finally be a hard battle. It's almost like the Warhammer or Warhammer 40k and building out teams based on point numbers, or X-Wing if you've played that from Fantasy Flight games. Invisible Octopus, thanks for joining. And let's see here, but Archmage, Archdruid is a level 18 spellcaster, and they count it as CR 12, so isn't it more like 2/3? Yeah, I don't know about that and how it relates. It technically, yes, in theory we would say like, oh, they're a level 18 spellcaster, so technically they should be a level CR, or they should be a CR 18 monster, but I guess with the players and their power creep, it works out a little differently. So, for instance, let me do one more example here. I have three level 6 players in my Tuesday campaign, right? So we have 3 times 6 would equal 18, right? So we take that 18 and we divide that in half, because technically their CR is roughly around there. So, in theory, with my 3 level 6 players, if we divide that by 1/2, we end up with a total of CR 9 monsters. I can take any amount of monsters I want within reason, as long as it's not a solo monster, and as long as it's not swarms. I could have, you know, 6 or 7 monsters equaling up to somewhere around CR 9, possibly. Yes, exactly, Chosen One. That's why we have some issues with players and whatnot, because of, you know, power creep from items and what have you. So this is the system I've been using now, and it works out really well. I really enjoy it, but I also couple that with reading a lot of the articles and the items from the Monsters Know What They're Doing. So I may be creating what could be, in theory, a deadly encounter, but the majority of the time my monsters don't stick around past half health. Once they hit half health, especially if they're like a beast or something, my monsters are running away. They don't want to die. They're gonna go lick their wounds. They're gonna go recover, maybe come back if they're a smart enough creature and what have you. I'd highly recommend the article from Sly Flourish. Let's see here. Yeah, check out his website. Really easy stuff to read up on. And let's see here. Here we go. It's right here. The Lazy Encounter Benchmark. It's fantastic stuff. This one's a little outdated, but excellent stuff to work with. I've actually been meaning to do like a shorts on this to help with doing that. Yeah. Let me see here. Sly Flourish. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't do the link here. Yeah, so totally read up on this, but update it with the what I had posted here. So with this information. Let's see here. Can I get? Oh, anyways. Yep, there you go. Clorox and Invisible Octopus. There you go. Yeah, it's so fast now to build encounters. I love it. It's so easy. I've been reading up. I have a couple of his books as well, which I highly recommend for lazy DMs like myself. Ignore that second link. It was trying to give the ranges, but you know, you guys can see it here. I'll post that maybe on the I should post that in the Discord as well for quick encounter building. Okay, let's get back to Utgrad here and see what we've got for this potential CR20 monster. You're very welcome, Clorox. Let us know how the Eberron game goes once you've gotten into it. Alright, so we also now have Unbreakable. When Utgrad is subjected to an effect that allows him to make a Constitution saving throw to take only half damage, he instead takes no damage if he succeeds the saving throw and only half damage if he fails. So this is Avoidance. So we can go ahead and throw in Avoidance here for +1 effective AC bonus. Maybe a little better than that. Oh, wait. Let's see here. Constitution saving throws. I would still say just throw in the +1 effective. You know, it could more than likely come up we're gonna say probably +1 for that. It's simple enough. And we also have Sturdy. Utgrad has advantage on maintaining concentration as well as against being poisoned, being infected with a disease, or being charmed or knocked prone. Alright, that one I'm going to say has probably no effect, especially since we have, you know, being poisoned, that's a condition, being diseased, a condition, charmed, and whatnot. As we know with like the Fey ancestry, with elves and whatnot, I'm pretty sure there's no effect for that. So this one's handy, but shouldn't really mess with the CR for a monster. Oh, it's elusive but for con. It's based on a feat. Cool, Clawpaw, thank you. Did I put that? Okay, I don't have an... Alright, I see what you're talking about. Alright. Then we have Ra's Warrior. Utgrad has advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma checks made when in contact with people of Ra's belief. Alright. We'll skip that one. I don't believe that's going to really affect anything. Probably for skill checks, I believe. That sounds like. Shining Paladin. When Utgrad takes radiant damage, he instead of taking damage, is healed by the exact same amount. His next melee attack then deals 2d20 radiant damage extra. Okay. We will count that in, because what you could probably do, like in the case of the star spawn hulks that have that whole psychic damage thing, you'll probably have someone in the party that's going to be spamming Utgrad with, you know, radiant damage. So in theory, we'll be seeing a whole extra, what is that, 2d20? So that's 10.5. So we'll say 21 points of extra damage. So we'll add that in there. And then, what do we have? Spellcasting. A whole bunch of spells. I'm going to skip spellcasting for now, and we will come back to that in a minute. Let me just double check real quick what we got. Command, Compel, Do, Searing Smite, Thunder Smite, Wrathful Smite, Shield of Faith, Zone of Aura, Aid, Aura of Vitality, Prison, Blinding Smite, lots of smites, okay. Aura of Life, Aura of Purity, Staggering Smite, Banishing Smite, Holy Weapon. You know, the funny thing I've noticed with Paladins and their smites, the smites aren't all that great. I mean, some of them are amazing, like Banishing Smite, fantastic. But when it comes to actually using them to calculate damage, sometimes they just get in the way. Let's see here. Joe Math. I haven't been calculating some CR monsters lately. I'm trying to calculate all of the Storm King Thunder's monsters first. I know, Joe. I know you hit me up with all those ones, and it's fantastic, man. You go hard when you are doing these calculations. But you know, we all got our real lives to contend with. So don't worry about it if you got other things going on, buddy. Yeah, with the smites, they kind of get in the way when calculating Paladin CRs, because someone put it. Who was I watching someone say something about that with the smites? Like, there's such a toss-up with smites. Sometimes they're like, oh, you know, it takes a bonus action to cast it, and you're concentrating on it. But if you miss the attack, and then you have a whole nother round to go and wait to get that smite in that you've just cast, and then someone hits the paladin, and the paladin loses concentration, then you're out of the spell. So it's a real give and take with these. But I would have to definitely look at that a little more closely to get a better idea of which ones would be working better. All right, yeah, Conjuring. I already seen this Clawpaw, the Conquering Smite. If Utgrad casts a spell with Smite in its name as a bonus action, he can cast another spell with Smite in its name as part of the very same bonus action. Okay, these spells stack. For example, if he casts Searing Smite, yep, and the target creature then takes. All right, Blinding Smite. Target takes 1d6 fire damage, 3d8 radiant damage, must make a Constitution saving throw against being blinded, and has to make 2 additional saving throws at the start of its turn, 1 for ending the flames to burn, and 1 for ending the blindness condition. He can stack as many smite spells as he wants, as long as he has the required spell slots. He has to comply with all their conditions for the spell, and has to use his spell slots for... Alright, so... I see what's going on here, Clawpaw. Yeah, it's a bit risky, but man, oof. Joe Math suggesting having Divine Smite. Is there a Divine Smite? Let me see here. Spell Smite. We got, as of right now, I'm seeing, let's see here, Banishing, Blinding, Branding, Searing, Staggering, Thunderous, and Wrathful. Oh, we've got our Russian spammers again. Welcome aboard, Russian spammer. Thank you. I have no idea what this bot is trying to say. Vin Fee, whatever. Alright, so in theory... Alright, so you can only... Looks like you can cast only 2 smites in one go. I'm not seeing anything about a Divine Smite. In my resource on the side here. I'm seeing 7 total smites. Already a meme. Alright, so the Conquering Smite here. Oh, okay, so you can just cast them all. Okay, I got you. Alright. Chosen one. Can you look at Ancient Flame Dragon trying to use this in level 21 shot? Yeah, alright. We can throw that up next. Let me finish this up. So, basically, we're going to use all of the smites together. In one just, bam, one big shot. It's so insane. Oh, man. Oh. Yeah, maybe, yeah, is that from like, alright, let me see something here. Yes, okay. It's a Paladin level 2 feature. Starting at level 2, when you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack, you can expel a spell slot. Yeah, okay, so it's all just getting that smite. Okay, that's the traditional smite, and then you can get improved at level 11. Chosen one. That is crazy. Alright, so let me get my thing back up here. Smite. Okay. So then, if we're going to cast everything, are we upcasting too? Or no, we're not upcasting because the smites don't upcast. Well, some of them do. Excuse me. Branding Smite can upcast. Searing can. Staggering can't. Yikes. Yikes. Vanilla Smite. Hey, Grimboy, welcome aboard. Good to see you, my man. Oh, man. Yeah, he is based on a Conquest Paladin who goes all out. This is very true. Oh, man. Let me just move on for now without casting any spells to give you an idea of where this monster or where this Paladin is going to be at. And we'll go from there. Overwhelming Aura, because we have legendary actions as well. So let me just give you base without spells, and then you can add on from there at a later point in time, or I can look at it a little more closely and give you a better idea, Clawpaw. Overwhelming Aura can cast Aura of Vitality, Aura of Life, Aura of Purity, and Crusader Mantle using the same concentration. If this one concentration is broken, all spells using it will end. You cannot use other spells that require concentration with and has to comply with this. Alright, so you can either have all your smites or all of your auras in one shot. Oh, man. Alright, we're going to move on from that. We're going to go with just base melee, sword and board for the time being and go from there. Whew. Tyrfing's Rival. When fighting Tyrfing, the Black Spear. Utgrad deals 10d10 more weapon damage, ignoring the dragon-skinned trait, and can use his reaction to also negate the effects of Tyrfing's Baneclaw. Smite too powerful. Imagine being a paladin and warlock. Oh god, yeah. The Lockadins. Alright. So that is Tyrfing's Rival is a situational thing, so we're going to ignore that for the time being. And Northern Fighting Style. Due to his exotic fighting style, Utgrad is unable to identify the way an opponent will begin their attacks. His opponents are also unable to find out how Utgrad will begin his turn and are unable to predict any complicated maneuvers. Alright, that's cool. Alright, we've got a reaction here. I'm just going to throw that in for parry. That's a nice and simple one. Simple. Thank thankfully. And we have, let's see here, a multi-attack of 2 weapon attacks, one with his greatsword and one with his morning star. And let's see here, we have plus 12 to hit. Okay, and the 12 is potentially from 6 and 6. Perfect. Okay, and let's take a look at here. Greatsword is coming from 68 plus 6 slashing, so we'll have 68. And strength for 33. Perfect. And the morning star, 4d10 plus 6. Also strength here. And we have 22 from there. Looks like the... Oh, I put dex. That's my bad. Okay, fix that. There we go, 28. The target has to succeed on a saving throw or be pushed away and knocked prone. Good combination there. Start with morning star and then hit with a greatsword to get that advantage, possibly. So we have that there, and we have that there. And we have one of each for the multi-attack. So let's see, we got that. And we have that for our multi-attack. Let's see what we have for, what else do we have here? Reactions. Dominate. Utgarde can choose one creature type except humanoid. On his next turn, every creature of that chosen type has vulnerability against his first attack. Ooh, wow. Doing double damage on one attack. That is pretty good. But it's part of the reaction. So what do we use? Do we use the... We'll just go with parry for the time being, just to make things simple. What do we got here? Bold Possum, Paladin Rogues, scariest crits ever. I bet. I bet Bold Possum. Jeez. Alright, and we have for legendary actions, we have an attack. Utgarde makes one greatsword attack. So the greatsword was dealing 33 points of damage. We'll just do that times 3. Oh no, times 2, because we only have 2 legendary actions. Okay, almost did 3. We have a move, which is basically nothing. We will negate that one out. And Aura costs 2 action. Utgarde casts Aura Vitality, Life, or Purity. Okay, that's cool. And then we could do a melee attack there. Alright, so... let's see, what do we have in total here? We would just do this. Actually, I always forget to do this first. So we have our multi-attack plus our legendary actions, and we'll multiply that times 3. And we're looking at, right now, CR 19. And that's pretty much it. How would I calculate improved critical? I would, depends on the range. So, for instance, let's take a look here. Let's say our Utgarde here is got improved criticals for, you know, both all the attacks, and the improved in critical would say 18 to 20. So right now, we only have a 5% chance to crit. I would put in the 18 here for normal times 2, and then I would say, all right, what is it minus all the strength? So our attacks here would be minus 12, right? So 61 minus 12. So we would take the 61 minus 12 to get rid of our strength bonuses, because we're not doubling those. And we would, in theory, add in an extra 14 damage if we had an improved critical range of 18 to 20. And what this 14 is doing is that every round we don't crit, we would technically be adding in 14 more damage, or effective damage, until we finally hit a critical, which we would expect, you know, 15% of the time that we roll with an improved critical range of 18. So I would take that 14, and then I would add that in to every round of combat, and say 14 on top of that, which would then, if Utgarde had an improved critical range of 18 to 20, I would say for every attack that he has the improved critical on, we would add that 14 in, and then eventually, you know, somewhere down the line with 2 melee attacks, Utgarde's going to crit, and we would see, you know, Utgarde at a CR 20 instead of a CR 19. So that's how I would work with improved criticals. You just take the range, which would be 15%, or whatever the range is. So if, for instance, let's say the critical range was 15 to 20. So we would put the 15 in there, and now we have a total of 29. So what that is we're just taking the total DPR per the round, we're multiplying it by the base number here. So it would be 49 times, in this case, it would be 25% from 15 to 20, right? 15, 16, 17, 18, no, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So that would be 30%. So we would say 49 times 0.3 for 30%. 14. Oh, what am I doing? Oh yeah, and then multiply it times 2. Oh, it's already being multiplied twice. Or no, the output's being multiplied twice. Okay. So, sorry. We would take that. Let me move that up. I don't want that stupid thing happening again. So we would say 49 for total DPR times 0.3 for a 30% chance to crit times 2. And that's how we're getting the 29% here, or 29 average damage. So that's how you would potentially add in improved critical damage, Joe Math. And then again, if our monster here had an improved critical of, 15 to 20, which would be 30% chance to crit, we could say, all right, let's add in 29, and still we only have technically a CR 20 bump, or up to CR 20 for that bump there for the improved critical. But, if we had times 3 dice, and we add in 44 instead, let's see where we're at there. Still pretty much the same. Luckily, it's not getting too crazy, but, who knows what could happen. All right, so Clawpaw, at base, we're looking at, right now, a CR 19. I'll take a look at this on my own time and add in some of the other stuff. I want to move on and get to the other monster that was requested, the, what was it, the dragon or something? Where is it? Yeah, the ancient flame dragon, and go from there. Okay, so let's see here. Flame dragon. Ancient flame dragon. Where's that one from, Chosen One? I'm not seeing it in my resource. Oh, Tome of Beasts. Oh, perfect. Thank you. 1 or 2? Is it book 1 or 2? The big ass flaming black red dragon. First one, perfect. Thank you, Chosen One. All right, let's take a look at that. All right, so probably in D for dragon, I would hope. Dragon, flame. Okay, perfect. All right, so here we go. We've got our ancient flame dragon right here. Let me zoom in a little bit and start working on the stats. More than likely, this is going to be severely underrated. Underrated, yes. Okay. So we have ourselves a gargantuan dragon. And let's see here. AC 22 with a whole bunch of stats. I'm just going to stick with the constitution here of 27 just to speed things up a little bit. Should be a 24. We're looking at how many hit dice? I missed that. So we have 26 hit dice, giving us 481 hit points on average. And then what we have here, we've got Dex, Con, Wisdom, and Charisma for saving throws. We have 4 there, excuse me. We have damage immunities to fire, but it's only 1 stat, so we won't worry about adding in immunities, so we can just move on from there. And we have legendary resistance, which is very typical for these larger monsters. I wouldn't be surprised if it also had magic resistance. Fire incarnate. All fire damage dealt by the dragon ignores fire resistance, but not fire immunity. Okay. That's cool. Not going to help us calculate the CR, but it will make the players a little toasty and wish they had immunity, not just resistance. And then what else do we have here? Wow, that's it. We do have legendary actions, but no magical resistance. Surprising. All right, so just legendary reactions, or saving throws, whatever it was. All right, so we're moving into actions. Let's see here. We have the dragon can use its frightful presence. It then makes 1 bite attack and 2 claw attacks. All right, so I gotta see something here. This is something I may have been missing with other dragons. I'm gonna read the frightful presence real quick. Each creature, the dragon's choice, blah, 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 is frightened for 1 minute. Frightened creature saves the throw. Okay, So what I was looking for was, in another monster I looked at, if the save was failed by 5 or more, then they were paralyzed. And if that was the case, Frightful Presence would add in a little bit of effective hit points. Need to kit this dragon out for a level 20 party. Yeah, I mean, so this was back to the point of calculating for the monster. You're going to definitely want, if all your 5 of your players are level 20, then have this dragon with a bunch of creatures as well. Like, throw in a couple maybe CR 10s and some smaller things and fill out that CR 100 point buy. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. The point buy system, like in Warhammer 40k and X-Wing from Fantasy Flight games. We need this guy, Wizard of the Coast, fix the entire stat blocks of the books. That would be a project for sure, to go through and fix all the older editions. It seems like the newer editions, and I don't want to say it was me, but it seems like some of the newer editions and these newer books are finally fixing their CRs, because I've had more. I want to say I've seen more monsters that are really close or on the number and not so wildly outlandish. Okay, so back to the monster. We have a bite attack. First off, it has a plus 13 to hit. I don't want to forget that. I've too many times forgotten to add that in. And let's see here. So our bite, some Magmins, Mephits, Ifritis. Heck yeah, throw in a whole bunch of fire-related monsters. Perfect for that. Wizard of the Coast, messing up their CRs. Oh, get him on the Monsters of the Multiverse. I'll do it myself. Yeah, exactly what I've been doing, Clawpaw. And Invisible, thank you. I have actually looked at one monster so far from the Monsters of the Multiverse for something that I'm doing coming up, and it was interesting. Let's see here, Chosen One. They will be going through the dungeons with a shit ton of Ifriti, thinking about putting in the Lava Keeper from Tome of Beasts 2. Cool. Should be fun. Alright, let's see here. Where am I at? Oh yeah, the bite. So the bite. We are looking at 17. 17, nope, it's just 17 plus 14, so we have 31 there. The claw is going to be 13, and then the tail attack is going to be 15, which is perfect. We have the Frightful Presence, which doesn't matter. We have a Fire Breath, and that will be, let's see here, 91 damage to one target. So we're going to multiply that times 2, not divide it. And then our multi-attack is going to be the standard, probably 1 bite, 2 claw attacks. Okay, that's what I figured. 1 bite, 2 claw. Alright, so our multi-attack is looking at 57. Our Fire Breath is dealing 182. And then we have Shifting Flames. The dragon magically polymorphs into a creature that has immunity to fire damage and a size and challenge rating no higher than its own. Okay. Inform the dragon, blah, blah, blah. Scanning it. Alright, Shifting Flames is not going to help us out, so we're just going to skip over Shifting Flames. Doesn't look like it's important. Yeah, retains its alignment, its hit points, so Shifting Flames doesn't help keep the dragon alive any longer because of that right there. The dragon retains its hit points. Unlike druids that polymorph and get new hit points, or when wizards polymorph people, we're not getting any extra bonus from Shifting Flames. Okay, so legendary actions. We've got 3 of them. We've got Detect, which doesn't help us out. We've got a Tail Attack, which we can do 3 times. So we'll just do the 15 times 3, giving us 45 damage. And then we have a Wing Attack, which surprisingly isn't that great, but is good to get you out of dodge if you need to get that dragon out of here. That's one good thing about Wing Attack. And really, why is the dragon on the ground anyway? The dragon should always be flying if it has the room to do so. And if it's in its lair, why is it not in the flying around anyways? Just whipping creatures with its tail attack. I'm sure the tail has reach. Yeah, look at this, 20-foot reach. Come on, you're gonna tell me that between the bite, the claw, and the tail attack, that this dragon isn't flying around, trying to keep off the ground and keep away from the melee? Alright, let's see here. Wait, is this a School of Evocation dragon sculpting stuff? I don't believe so, no. It doesn't seem like it, Joe. Alright, so let's get back to wing attack here. The wing attack, as per usual, isn't doing a whole lot. It's dealing 13 damage, so we'll do that times 2, and we'll add in 1 tail attack of 15. If this were the full rotation for the legendary actions, we would say, alright, we're going to do 1 wing attack and then do a tail attack, or tail attack first and then wing attack. They're so close that you could use either one if you wanted to, but because the 3 tail attacks does more damage, I'm going to use that. So that is it for our ancient flame dragon here. And let's see here, what do we have? Well, first round, obviously, we would use the fire breath, or the flame breath here. And then on top of that, we would also use 3 tail attacks. Or if we had to use the wing attack to get up into the air, do a flame breath that way, whatever you want to do. But first round, we're looking at roughly 227 damage. Rounds 2 and 3 are going to be the same until we regenerate, or until we recover the flame breath, and we'll do 2 multi-attacks and 2 sets of tail attack, or 3 sets of tail attacks. And we'll do that for rounds 2 and 3. And surprisingly, we have a CR24 dragon. I am shocked. Did I miss something? Did something go wrong here? How in the world is this a CR24? Whoever designed this, whoever was the designer for this dragon, mwah, congrats to you, sir, or madam, whoever, or person. Whoever did this, perfect. Got it, CR24, dead bagged it. I am surprised. Really am surprised. Holy cow, look at that. Okay. Yeah, exactly, Charles. And I was waiting for this thing to be like a 28. It's actually a 24. And considering what I've heard and what I've experienced from Kobold Press, who put this book out, and the Creature Codex, I am really surprised. So I would love to know who was the designer for this monster and congratulate them. Look, the crowd is shocked and stunned just as I am. I'm impressed. Okay. So it looks like, you know, provided you get 1 flame breath or fire breath in every 3 rounds of combat, we're good. And we don't have to worry about resistances because it's spot on there. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, exactly, Joe. The only time I've seen that was when I was looking at Fizzbands. Fizzbands, the higher dragons were pretty much spot on, which I was really shocked. And for a third party, that's even more impressive, if you ask me. I'm really surprised. Well, there we go. I'm going to take a note of that. Let's see here. We had 26, 22, 24. Let me go and put that into my book here. 24. I had a whole bunch of saved monsters here, but I will throw that in now. Tome of Beasts 1. And what page is this? 130? If you wanted to beef him up, you would want to go with immunities, but the problem is that well, all right, let me take a note and we will look at this real quick. I gotta get to my section here in the book, Tome of Beasts 1. Let's see here. Ancient Flame Dragon. It was 26. Oh, let me get the numbers again. 26, 22, all right, 22, 24, 24. Even rated. I am shocked. As you can see here, everything else has been very underrated except for the Doppelrat. The Doppelrat so far from that book has been the only other thing that hasn't been underrated. Okay, so if we wanted to throw in immunities, if we gave it a few immunities to stuff, because resistances aren't going to matter at this level. The players are so high and the gear should be so strong that you're only getting a one-time bonus for hit points. So you're not getting anything from resistances. They'll be bypassed real easy. Immunities are the only thing you're going to get for a monster like of this level, and if we were to add in at least 3 types of immunities, we would then see probably CR 26. If you really wanted to tweak it and get it up to like CR 30, I would say throw in magic resistance and then maybe a couple other things. But you know, honestly, I would just, the best route would be for, especially for a level 20 group, drain their resources before they get to this dragon. That's number 1. So have some encounters before they get there, so that way they're not coming in, you know, to this dragon fight full bore. And then point buy yourself. So you have, what was it, 24 for this, and upwards of 100, 100 points CR. So we would have, what, 76 points left over, and just get a whole bunch of other fire stuff in there to go with this fire dragon. You know, maybe there's some other flame dragons along with the ancient one. I don't know. You know, maybe you could have some young flame dragons as well. They're CR9. They're probably pretty close. So let's see here. If you so we have 100. We're gonna take the flame dragon. We're gonna take maybe 2 young flame dragons as well. So we'll subtract 18 for 2 of those. You still have 58 points in CR. It could be pretty fun. And then, you know, whatever, fire elementals, the mephits. The mephits at that point are just gonna be chum anyways. And you can just go crazy with it. I mean, yeah, from the sounds of things, you could go in with 2 ancient flame dragons against a bunch of CR20s, or CR level 20 players, and still, they'll probably be all right. It'll be interesting, but, you know, it could be fun. Oh no, eat magic items? Oh, that's terrible. Oh no. Yikes. Oh, wow, okay. Where am I getting pinged? Okay. All right, gentlemen, people, anyone else who's watching, everyone, that is time. That's 11 o'clock at night. And thank you all for joining. It's been a pleasure going through all these monsters, taking a look at Balrog's Wooden Warden and Clawpaw's Utgrad. Custom monster there, the paladin of just mightiness that can go crazy. Probably going to be probably end up being somewhere around, I'd say, CR 25, if anything else. Like I said, Clawpaw, I will take a look at some of those other things for that character and get back to you on that. And looking at the Flame Dragon from the Tome of Beasts 1, which was surprisingly accurate. Thank you all for joining. Chosen One, Joe Math, Clawpaw. It was also Invisible Octopus, who's new to the live stream. Thank you for stopping by. Grimboy stopped in real brief. Haven't seen him in a while. And Bold Possum, thank you for joining as well. The first time seeing you there. It's been a pleasure working with all of you, looking at the monsters tonight. A lot of energy tonight. I'm surprised. I don't know. I had a good day today. It was a good day. Washed my cars. My wife and my car finally. So yeah, let's see here. Chosen One, thanking Andrew. Joe Math, so evil. The dragon can cast Wish to rewind time. Oh, that is pretty evil, Joe Math. Clawpaw, it was our pleasure to be here again. My pleasure, your pleasure. It's all of our pleasures. It was a lot of fun. You're welcome, Joe Math. Clawpaw, I wish you all good night. Yes, everyone have a good night. Clorox, yes. Thank you as well for being here. I didn't see, I was scrolling up, just wanted to thank everyone for being here. Thank you, Clorox, for stopping by as well. Great stream as always. May put my Dispater stat block in the Discord for next week. Throw it in there. I am always happy to look at them and take a look at the monsters, custom monsters on the live stream. All right, everyone. Thank you all for joining. You've all been awesome to hang out this entire time for the hour that we did the live stream and take a look at some monsters exposing their CRs. And this is me, Andrew, asking the question, are your encounters even rated? Have a good night, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you not next week. Next weekend, I have a birthday party, family little gathering for my stepdaughter's birthday. She's turning 14, so we're doing a small little gathering, family gathering, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks for the next live stream, unless something else happens. Don't forget, stay wild and don't talk about Bruno. I'm not going to ask about Bruno. We will just keep it there. All right, everyone. Have a good night, and I will see you next time.